That's the doorbell at Jimmy's house. Now, when you come to my house, my doorbell sounds like this.
People's Radio United.
Hey, welcome to People's Radio United, the People's Weekly Show. I'm here with Canadian Glenn. I gotta hit this bong real quick. What's up, Glenn?
Buenos dias. Such outstanding professionalism.
I had it burning, that's why I couldn't just leave it. That would be a waste. Yeah, we'll get to that and shoot this music all loud. Where is it? We'll get to that in the segment that's about that, the sponsorship segment. So what's been going on, Glenn?
Just another week in friendly, safe Canada. It's becoming more and more obvious that only applies if you're white. Male helps too.
How you stopped too soon? I was choking. Yeah, Canada, it could suck like the U.S. sucks sometimes. A lot of times. A lot of people don't know that. Oh, man. How boring can we be today? Think we could beat last week? You weren't boring. I was boring.
Well, you see, the thing is, like, one of the things that most people around the world think is a happy, friendly symbol of Canada is a fucking cop. A Mountie.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking a maple leaf. But yeah, go ahead. That's true.
Like, that's people, like, I don't know how many people know this, but about 25 years ago now, the RCMP contracted out their iconography, their imaging, for a professional corporation to, look after it and develop it. The RCMP gave their publicity contract and ownership of their symbols to Disney. So when you know things like that about Canada, it kind of gives you a different perspective. And on a lot of things, after a while, you could say, so that border that we see on the map there, does it really exist? Or is that just where the tax jurisdictions end and another one takes over?
Pretty much, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been some really, really, really shitty things happening in Canada this last week, but
here too, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Yeah, I just determined, the truth. Before we were talking with the show, we were talking about the truth is I have to come to the realization that things aren't random and the Illuminati's trying to silence me and they're using superpowers and aliens and everything, I got to get off the conspiracy that things are just randomly happening sometimes, coincidences. I have to, get with the program and realize it. It's always the Illuminati. I see Twitter accounts like that. Everything's the Illuminati.
Trust the plan.
Yeah. Oh, I'm kicked off Twitter. We didn't even mention that yet. That's awesome. See? The Illuminati. They did that. It wasn't me going against the guidelines. It was the Illuminati trying to silence me. Actually, it was kind of wimpy. Like, I go against the guidelines a lot more than I did on that tweet. I just said every prime minister and president should get bitch slapped because someone slapped Macron, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was that crazy. I mean, I talk about all kinds of things that I think I thought. Remember, I texted you earlier, and I said if I get banned from Twitter, it's for trolling these Nazis and putting their kids out. Not their kids out, but one of them put a picture of his kids up and it was silhouetted, so I just lightened it for him. So you could see their faces because these people were just trolling. One of them's in DMs threatening women one at a time, so I put his thing out there. I mean, I got pictures from 2 different women that sent it to me. He's threatening to go to their house and beat them up and tell them to put their address down. Why are they so scared? These are all PragerU people, by the way.
Well, they are consistent. I'll give them that.
Yeah, like most of them are bots and trolls, you know. Lots of trolls with a couple of followers. Lots of bots in there. But they just target attack anybody that says anything against PragerU. And then some of them are real people. And they're like the worst of the worst, man. They got all these Bible verses in America and MAGA on their stuff. And they're in DMs threatening to come and beat up women and kill them and tell me where you live and... You know, but they're not banned. They're not banned. See, because they work for the Illuminati, evidently. You know, anyone just listening to this, I know there's people that really are crazy like that. We're just joking around. Like, yeah, I don't think the Illuminati's even a thing. So it's just fun to make fun of the other people, you know.
But you know, Tim, this is a great time to remind everybody out there that while you're fighting this battle in your day-to-day existence, you can always improve your chances with mega quadular enhancements. They're for sale now, and we highly recommend them.
Oh, yeah. You got to use that wrestler voice for that because it's like one of those pump you up kind of things. Man. Oh, yeah, we should sell supplements on here, Glenn. You're right. We're going to start selling snake oil pills, y'all. So get ready to open your wallets up and give until it hurts. Coming soon.
Trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Oh, man. I'm just out of it. What a crazy 2 weeks I've had.
Well, man. when the Illuminati gets its sights on you, you know.
Yeah, nah, you know what? It started with the police, and it didn't just end there. I was used to them. I expected them. Just random stuff. Me being stupid and wrong place, wrong time kind of stuff. Oh, man. Just frustrating. So, yeah, I should have another 360 camera in about 2 weeks or less. I'm going to get that first because they're on sale right now. I'm going to grab a drone a little later, yeah.
Well, you know, even talking about the tweet relating to somebody slapping Macron, yeah, I mean, that's not super offensive. That's a very thin net, but it's a very wide net because you said all presidents and prime ministers.
I meant that.
Well, I understand that, but
I am an anarchist.
But the thing is, if that gets a little bit of play, then that is poking a finger at pretty much everybody in the white fucking world. Right? So
no. Don't. It's not even like that. A lot of them, but there's a lot. I mean, look at Erdogan. He's not really white. Look at Duterte. He's not white. There's a lot of presidents, prime ministers, and dictators. Kim Jong-un isn't white. I want them all to be bitch slapped. Every single one. And if Spreaker cuts me off, they're going to owe me some money for the rest of this year. Just throwing that out there.
They won't. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, Spreaker loves us. Plus, they know we got the... What?
No, the thing is, you paid for a period of time. So They're going to let it play out. Whatever. They got their money. That's all they want.
Yeah, Spreaker doesn't have any rules. You could probably just scream hate speech on here all day and nobody would do anything because you pay for it, right?
Well, to a point. Yeah, it depends who didn't like it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with your Macron tweet. It depends who doesn't like it.
Well, it said it went against Twitter's rules about violence. But yeah, I suspect it was mass reporting by these Prager people.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Prager people, do you know how many Twitter accounts I have? Like, you haven't really done anything. I have accounts I don't even remember. I got to go find paper to look up what they're called and where they're at. From years and years and years and years and years ago. We made joke accounts that just died out. I have so many Twitter accounts. What are they going to really do?
No comment.
I'm just saying, good luck with that. You ain't going to get rid of me. You just got rid of a bigger account. A lot of small accounts could pop up now. Be wary. Be wary, Prager Nazis. Be wary. Oh. So, yeah. Do you want to go into what happened in Canada with that, or do you want me to talk about what's going on here at the beach first?
Let's hear about the beach, because I just saw some shit today about the LA sheriff being all over Venice now.
Yeah, there's this fascist cop, 15 years as a cop, now running for mayor, named Joe Buscano. And he's clinged on to this Save Mar Vista, it's called. Mar Vista is a little city. It's like in between Venice and Santa Monica and Culver City and West LA, I guess. I don't know. It's just one of those little cities over the little area. They got a park, right? So it's Save Mar Vista Park. Everyone has these all the fascists have these posters up in their lawns. So if you happen to be in the Venice, Mar Vista, West LA area, and you see Save Mar Vista Park on somebody's lawn, the people going in and out of that house are most likely pretty fascist. Just keep that in mind. See, stuff like that's what gets me kicked off Twitter, huh? I need a bigger audience with baseball bats on this show. We need to work that out. Like maybe if you donate some money to this show, we'll just send you a baseball bat. And it won't be any more than the bat cost because we'll get them at wholesale. We just want to get listeners with baseball bats. That might be awesome. But anyway, yeah. So anyone with those things are fascists. So if you happen to be down there, act accordingly. But then, so this Joe Buscano ex-pig, whatever he is, he's been a cop for 15 years or something. He goes down to Venice Beach to give this speech about, you know how they do it is double talk. They say we want to help people, which means we want to get them the fuck up out our neighborhoods. It clearly states, I got the flyer here, I posted it online. I just got to find it in my pictures. It's pretty terrible. But yeah, he's over there preaching about how we stand up against homeless encampments in our neighborhoods, overdevelopment, crime, and increased traffic. So yeah, everyone's against increased traffic and crime, overdevelopment, but he has the homeless encampments. And somebody was filming over there when he was there, and a lot of people were filming, good and bad people. So I guess some woman had a knife. Some homeless woman was walking and dropped her stuff, which had a knife in it. She wasn't trying to assault anybody. She wasn't doing anything because they got video of the witnesses telling this to the police, and the police ran the witnesses off. So, of course, they took it to be she was trying to assassinate him so he couldn't clean up Venice, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff, right?
Wow.
So after this, I saw another video. I wasn't down there. I have to work usually when this kind of stuff's going on lately. Especially now that I got to buy more cameras and drones that I've already bought. But, yeah, so I seen this video, this houseless guy sitting there. And all the people that were, the Nazis that went to see him talk, his supporters, started surrounding this guy, talking about he's trying to help you. What are you, stupid? Don't you get it? Like getting I don't know. I don't know if they were going to do something to him or not. I guess they didn't. But it was just all up in these people's faces. They got nothing. And one of those dudes was, I know him because he was with the guy that said he was going to shove the camera up my ass. And he left when the police left because they don't really have the balls to shove a camera up my ass. But yeah, you know, and this is a few blocks away, mind you, from when I filmed that Nazi rally thing on Memorial Day a week or two ago. And it's also close to where those swastikas been popping up all over, graffitiing on everything. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
You know, you want to eliminate people from your community because they're lesser than you or you don't like their thing. Think of all the people smoking speed living in houses in Venice. You know, are they, they're not hated. It's just the people in the tents doing it, maybe. And a lot of them aren't even doing that. Some people are mentally ill. Some people are on drugs. Some people just living their lives and have nothing, so they're out where they have to be. Some people are working, trying to figure out how to keep their stuff from getting stolen while they go to work.
Yeah.
But what they're not doing is just saying, here's an apartment for you. Here's a place for you. Here's a, you know, whatever. They're like, here's a shelter you can go to. They got guards at the door. You can't leave after a certain time. You can't have any pets. You can't have any significant others unless you're married and Jesus knows it or something. And some of these places have like religious overtones too.
Yep.
And they all got cops. Cops can just go through your stuff whenever they want. It's ridiculous. You want to give people housing, give them housing. Don't give them all these conditions.
Well, the thing that kills me is, you know, it's funny how nobody talks about cost of what the system's doing so much anymore. Because now it seems like they've tried to change the narrative to, okay, we're doing something. That seems to be the general political message.
That's the problem, kind of, because maybe they are thinking of doing something. Because as you brought up before, Alex Villanueva, the sheriff,
yeah,
of, you know, the LA sheriff, the gang leader, he was down there. That's not his jurisdiction. That's LAPD jurisdiction. He's down there talking about we need to see what we can do to clean it up. What the hell are you doing down there? Trying to get more money? Trying to get more revenue to the sheriff's department? More territory for your gangbangers to be patrolling? I don't know, man. It seemed really weird. He shouldn't have been down there. That's not where he belongs. He doesn't belong anywhere in LA, but he really doesn't belong there, even with his position, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm just a fucking tourist that's thousands of miles away, but I mean, there have been, about 46 million fucking media projects made in Venice that have been on TV or in movies. Like, it's the LAPD's territory. Like, what the fuck is the LA sheriff doing down there cleaning people out? It's fucking insane.
Well, I don't think they have yet, but he was walking through, talking, you know, doing his political thing. He's in LA, the sheriff is a politician, dude. They get elected in and they go to prison. That's what happens here in LA. If you don't believe me, look up the last sheriff we had and everybody around him. His name was Lee Baca. I'm going to help you all out.
Yeah. Wow. That's just insane. Yeah. I mean, and how is the LAPD okay with this? That's what blows me away.
I don't know. They haven't moved him in yet. There might be some pushback, but nobody wants sheriffs. They're worse than the pigs, even, because they got less restrictions. They got more extrajudicial rights or whatever you call it.
Yep.
So yeah, LAPD's bad enough. The sheriff is just super overkill, man. These people are going to start dying. I mean, they already have. There's people that died. Brendan Glenn got shot down there. So many homeless people are shot by these police every year. Sheriffs too, but in Venice, police are the ones murdering homeless people. And yeah, you add the sheriffs to that, it's going to be brutal, man. Brutal.
puts another well-armed gang on the street. That's all it fucking does.
Yep, that's all it is. And we're paying for that gang.
Wow. Not cool, man. Fuck. Any new insanity with the California gubernatorial? You got any new crackpots this week, or?
I really haven't been paying attention. Like, I didn't know some of the things you were telling me was going on that I should have known about. Normally I would. It's just, man, it's been crazy. My PTSD been, before anything happened, my PTSD was through the roof. Before even, like, when the cops started surrounding me, before they slashed my things and all that. And then just everything adding up. Like, I've been having this for like a month now. So it's just getting like, hopefully it'll end soon and I'll be more normal again. But yeah, I really haven't been paying attention to a whole lot of stuff I normally would in the last month, I guess. Yeah, I gotta get a new Twitter account going. I'll let you know what it is when I get it going so you can follow me.
Well, I've got a prediction for California now. It's going to turn out just like it always does. They're going to go through with this recall, and by the time whoever wins and replaces Newsom, by the time that's said and done and the fucker's sworn in, everybody's going to wish Newsom was still there. That's how it's going to turn out for California, like it always does.
I don't know, I have this feeling Newsom's just going to stay. Like he's going to get the votes or whatever, right?
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, he sucks, but Caitlyn Jenner or Gavin Newsom or some other fascist, there'll be another fascist dude. They all suck. They just hate him because they took away their constitutional right to not have to wear a mask and endanger other people in public, in private businesses. So that's why they want to recall him, because he didn't stand up against any corporation that said you had to wear a mask. Evidently, I don't know. Plus, he's a Democrat, and the Republicans pushed it. But, you know, they do things pretty slick, because the Democrats suck. And everybody knows it. So all they got to do is, like, you know. We suck less.
Or anybody's better than this guy. That's what they basically did with this. They didn't have anybody to put up against him that I know of. Wow. Maybe they do. But nobody huge, like, oh, yeah, who cares? California's been screwed over by Democrat and Republican governors for as long as I've been around.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. And I mean, as usual, it's all about all the wrong fucking things. So, you know, yeah, it's theater.
I mean, I've seen mayors and chief of police and council members my whole life. They come out to the hood, hug some black people, be around some babies, do all the, you know, look like they really care. Then they disappear. They don't hear or see them the whole rest of the time until it's election time again, or time for a quick photo op. They'll drive through in their limos or whatever, their nice cars with all their people, jump out, snap some shots, and they're gone. They ain't there to help. They ain't there to even look at what's happening, man. I've seen that kind of stuff so many times. I still see it now sometimes. But yeah, the politicians is scum. They don't care. It's all about photo ops. And this is before the internet even, you know?
Yeah.
They get their little pictures in the newspaper with a black baby or standing with a black family or a Mexican family. Then they're like, oh, now we're going to get these people's votes. There we go. Let's move on. Next photo op. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about anybody but themselves and their stupid party, because their party backs themselves. You know what I mean? Like,
weird.
Anything they care about the people that back them until they don't need them no more. That's a politician. Scum. I don't like any of them.
That's pretty fucked up, I must say.
You see that video with the lady with the bear coming over her fence? That was pretty crazy. Just random, random shit. It was this lady, and she had like 3 dogs in the backyard, and the baby bear was up there, and the dogs were barking, and the mother bear came over, a really huge bear, and the lady just screamed, shoved the bear, snatched the dogs up, and ran in the house before the bear hopped the fence to tear her up.
Well,
Yeah, it's been all over the internet. It was pretty like incredible.
no,
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
people
No.
love their dogs, man. I don't blame her.
Well, this is going to be an effect of everything. I mean, animals and the environment generally got a year off, got to recover a little bit. And there's been a lot of reports of just going to be serious higher bear activity in Canada this year too. Just, you know,
The video
no
might have been
hunting.
from Canada. I'm not sure.
I mean, no hunting for a year. I mean, that's big money. That's all it is. That's all it's about. I mean, just like you see all these American assholes that fly to Africa to kill something exotic. Well, the same kind of industry exists in Canada for bears. So, you know, and for moose. Just, hey, these people want to kill stuff. Got to go different places, you know? So it's going to be interesting what happens. Like the mountain parks could be a little more wild. I've seen apparently there's way more bison than they were counting on in Yellowstone somehow.
That's ridiculous. Like, what are people doing to kill these animals? Chop off their head and put it on a plaque? I mean, how stupid is that?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I love it when the hunters get what's coming to them. I don't care how it could be an accident. I love it even more when the animal gets them, as long as they don't kill them afterwards. We should just make it fair, man. We should have people out there with guns on the animal side. So,
Well-
like, you know, we got this bear's back. You want to shoot the bear, we're going to shoot at you. You still going to shoot at the bear?
Yeah, well, I think if you add them all up, there's an area about as big as Texas in Africa where that's how it works.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, there's some
People
in South
defending
Africa.
the animals?
Yeah, South Africa, Kenya, I think Mozambique, Namibia. They've all got sanctuaries where it's a fucking army that protects the animals.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because they don't have weaponry. Us stupid primates, we have weaponry. So they need primates with weaponry to protect them.
Yeah,
Unless
that's
we
what
can
it's
like
come
put,
to.
unless we could put like laser beams that the animals can control somehow. I'm all for working on that.
Yeah, but they'll just weaponize them then anyway, so.
Yeah, against the hunters, that was the point.
No, they'll turn it into witch hunters. Not all hunters, you know? Not our hunters, the other hunters. Whatever.
Yeah.
Or they could train them to just go in amongst its own and kill them all. Then we
Oh,
don't even
man.
have to go out there.
You animals got to think for yourself. Don't let humans train you. Listen to me. Man, we got a lot of animal listeners. I have one right here. Man. So, yeah, Canada's pretty bad right now, too, huh?
Well, I mean, we were talking about this before the show too. It's just a different impact.
I mean,
that-
yeah, as far as the white supremacist bullshit goes.
No, but I mean just which country it's in. Because now it's to the point where there is what is considered a mass shooting, at least one every day in the United States. But you're not hearing about them anymore. It's local news only. You know? Unless it's something
Yeah,
really,
some major.
really bad.
Yeah, like even the one that 20 people got shot and 3 died, you heard about it for about a day and it was over.
Yeah. It's a statistic. That's it. But yet, you know, it just seems to go on. I don't know why it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, you know, if they're going to try and tie this to the way they kept harping on about Chauvin, you know, like we were saying, remain calm, stay indoors, everything's under control. I don't know if it still applies going this far. I think it's just something done on purpose that we're just not going to report them anymore. It's not a priority for us.
Well, I mean, it's bad for the gun manufacturers, and the NRA is going through some stuff. You can't not have a racist gun lobbyist. You know, you got to let them get back on their feet, which I think they almost have, but they were down for a minute trying to figure out what to do, filing bankruptcy, weren't they?
Well, I mean, that was, they were all for bankruptcy until it went through court, and it was deemed that that's not going to protect you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still sending stuff out and getting members, aren't they?
Well, of course. They're never going to turn down revenue.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've talked about the problem with the NRA before.
Yeah.
Their own yearly polling of their paying membership for a long time. Well, like for 20 years. The membership themselves are in favor of background checks, are in favor of magazine size, are in favor of a lot of fucking things.
Do you think they still are?
Well, the polling says they are every year.
You know what? I think maybe a lot of people that are NRA members don't even know too much about them. They're just like, oh, I gotta be a member just to protect my gun rights.
The thing is,
that's not in any way the case. The NRA has done more to take away gun rights out of the hands of non-white people. The NRA is just a race. They don't back good, legal, responsible gun owners who get murdered for having a legal gun. They don't do any of that. They'll always back the cops. They'll always back the racists. They're a fascist organization run by racists. The people they put in charge of it are always racist. You don't need them. You got the Second Amendment. Why you need the NRA? I mean, let's be real. Just think common sense.
Well, the last thing I saw, asking the membership why they are members, there is as big a fraction as any other reason. One of them is it's basically an armored Sam's Club. There's like over 20, high 20s in percentage of NRA members say the only reason they're a member is because of the discounts they get everywhere else by producing that fucking card. That's the only reason. It's like Costco to them.
See, here's the problem with the NRA. They're talking about we don't want registrations on guns. We don't want anything. We just want people to be able to get them easy, free, any second of the day.
Yeah.
We already can do that. We can print our own guns, so we don't need you anymore. We don't need the gun companies. We don't need the NRA. People already got their blueprints for everything. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, those guns are illegal, and they're going to stay that way.
No, you said unregulated. If you want guns to be unregulated, we don't need to buy them from your people, do we? We just get them from the homie with the printer. No. We really don't. Everyone should just, let them keep making more guns and not selling them, and we can just buy them from people with printers. Print them yourself if you got the means. Who cares? You just got to get some parts. And in certain states, that's pretty easy. Just go to Texas, get your parts, and print guns, and keep the NRA out of it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, but I would direct you to look at American history, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You can't grow your own cigarettes. You can't sell them on your own. You can't make your own alcohol and sell it like everybody else. They'll make sure you can never do the same thing with guns either. I think the real fight is going to be you being able to make one with your machine, and it's yours, and that's it. They're going to have a hard time making that illegal. Because
printed guns are everywhere. Weed plants are everywhere. The ATF need to be abolished. You know why? Because they're cops.
Yes, they are cops. They're federal police.
Yep.
And they got a lot of fucking pull when they show up somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? They're as, on the chain of command, they're up there with the DEA. So.
I don't remember. It was a few years back, maybe quite a few years back. I think it was in Hollywood. I used to pass by every once in a while on my way back from work, and there'd be these cats, like this van and these big signs saying ATF watch day number something, and I don't even know what they were, just sitting in front of a building somewhere. It was like some activist cats, like, I don't know, protesting something at ATF. I just remember I used to pass by it, and every day we had another day written on the thing. And then when, I don't know, maybe I stopped going that way or they just stopped doing it. I don't remember. It was somewhere in Hollywood, maybe. I seem to think it was in Hollywood. But yeah, that was just some weird thing. Yeah, when the ATF comes, people are pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But I mean, people been growing their own weed since it was super illegal, you know?
Yep.
Just get away with whatever you do. That's your goal. Don't get caught.
It's the way they work. Fuck.
Yeah. If enough people are doing it, you really can't stop everybody. That's the point. That's why I've been trying to tell people. If everyone's in the street, we outnumber them and they can't stop us. They can't arrest everybody. They can try to kill everybody, but it ain't going to happen. There's too many people. Unless they're going to bomb their own country. There's power in numbers. So, like, whatever you do, get everybody to do it. If everybody's doing it, it's a lot harder to stop. Yeah, all these Prager people just think that just because you don't like Prager, you must hate guns. I do hate guns, but it doesn't mean we don't got them. You know what I mean?
You don't worship guns.
There you go. I mean,
yeah.
None of these people probably been shot as many times as I have either. So I got a reason to hate them, but hating them don't mean you don't got them.
Well, yeah, they're the ammosexuals. So
yeah.
But you know, there you go. I mean, this stuff is going on nonstop in the United States, but it just doesn't seem to be mentioned as much as it was just a little while ago. And then you go north of the border, and it's almost, in some ways, the opposite, because there's shit going on here all the time, and it's only reported locally. And if it's really bad, then we may hear about it across the country for a day. So, I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of the reverse image of the U.S. You guys had everything on blast. Now it don't matter. We're kind of going the other way.
But y'all never had as much as we have on blast. We got this thing happening multiple times a day sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's just a product of population as well.
Yeah, bigger population, and y'all don't have these guns like we do there either.
No, we don't. And that is a big part of it, no doubt. But
yeah, I mean, it's like we said before, like with Texas, what's going to happen? The United States is a country with a whole bunch of people with no way to get, mental health care. A lot of poor people. But you know what you can still afford no matter how poor you are, pretty much?
A gun.
In the United States, a gun. Man, I can go look it up now. You can get those little jamming guns. They shoot once or twice and jam. They're cheap. They fall apart. It's kind of like, the little cheapos that cats get. And a couple $100. Some of them are even cheaper. I think you can maybe get them like $100 or less, some of them. Maybe $200 or less. I had to look it up. I don't know. They're cheapo guns. They feel cheap. They look cheap. I've come across some throughout the years. Not mine, but other people had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I even bought one a long time ago, and it jammed. When I really needed it, it jammed. And everybody told me, oh, those all jam. Yeah, they're really cheap. So basically you got a bunch of people who can't get a way to survive in any real way. You know, they can just barely survive, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just can hold on and, you know, do without maybe food or a little bit of this or that, they can get a gun. And with the gun, you can get a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like they're going, oh, you know what? On right-wing radio this morning, let's get to that after. I know, because you're on the Canadian thing, but never mind. Yeah. I was going too far, too fast. But yeah, that's the difference, though, man. You don't have all these guns, and if you have all these guns, people are going to use them.
Well, that's just it. They're tools.
Not even that. They're just, I mean, they are, but at the same time, like this jackass on the freeway. Some woman cuts him off. They get into an argument, so he unloads into a car and kills her little kid.
Fuck.
Now, this psycho and his girlfriend are going to jail, probably forever. And this woman lost her kid, and the whole family don't have this little 6-year-old boy. Gone. Because some jackass just had a gun and got mad, and couldn't just control himself, evidently, right? Like, what happened to just stepping out and beating somebody's ass, busting their windows, slashing a tire even, to go back to what they did to me? But just shooting into a car, you don't know who's in the car, what's going on. I mean, these aren't gangsters in the car. They're not even cops or government officials. They're just people trying to get to work or school or whatever. Yeah, they cut you off. They might flip you off, flip them back off, curse them out. You know, get in a fight in the street. I don't know. You don't got to just shoot people for it's so stupid, man. Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And, you know, I think, again, going back to more of the NRA thinking, just because you can, that don't fucking cut it. You know? Like, forget it. It's not good enough. No way. You know, is this going to fall under any sort of different public relations law that was made? You know, like, is this going to be some type of special murder because it happened shooting from a car or anything like that?
I don't know. It was a big deal because it was like I think it was almost $500,000 reward trying to find these people.
Wow.
It was like a big news story out here because it was a little 6-year-old got murdered, you know?
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, you got all these gun nuts out here. Everybody got a gun. Everybody want to use it. Everyone wants to be Wild Wild West bad. I mean, it's better in my mind. If you have a gun, no one should know you have it. So you absolutely have to pull it like your life's in jeopardy. Then you got the element of surprise, at least, you know?
Yeah.
But that's because my view of a gun is to use it in defense of some other jackasses trying to use it offensively. So, yeah, because everybody has them, people have to have them, I guess, right? If you want to be protected against someone with a gun. Because, you know, you call the police, they show up after you're dead, file a report.
Yep. It's like, thanks
police.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of times if you did that, it's like, okay, well, thanks for the heads up. We'll be around.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. I don't like the defund the police. It was some real right-wing MAGA dude or woman or whatever it was online. I said, me either. That's why I say abolish the police. And, you know, they went to their old go-to. Oh, who are you going to call then if you don't? You say that till you call the police. Yeah, no. Man, I've called the police like 3 times in my life, and it's always been on the police. Every single time I've called the police has been on the police. So if you abolish the police, I'll never have to call the police again, right? Because they ain't out there doing crimes and beating people and double parking and drinking with guns on their hips and parking in handicapped spaces while they give a ticket just because they're fat. man. Yeah, like, no. What would I call the police for? I've seen people rob stuff. They could call the police at the store, want to call them, but by the time they call the police, the dude's already gone. People shooting on the block, call the police for what? What are they going to do? Come over and start harassing everybody, asking a bunch of questions?
What is the unofficial policy of convenience stores and shit like that?
I got twisted at gunpoint a couple weeks ago. I didn't call the police for what? I'll never call them. I don't even, man. There's no reason I can comprehend in my mind I would call the police. Unless it's on the police, because that makes sense to me. Come and deal with your people, you know? But it doesn't even really make sense, because traditionally what it has done is bring more cops into the situation. With the exception of the fat cop parked in the handicap spot. They let him have it. They were talking crap to him, clowning him, he was mad. He was so mad he gave me a ticket the next day. For no reason. They were calling him all kinds of fat and saying, you're not handicapped. I'm like, that's what I said. I was actually agreeing with a cop that day because he was trashing another cop. But yeah, I called and I threatened to tow. I called the tow truck company. Then I called 911. It was like, yo, we got to get this car towed. And, you know, this guy's a gun. And I always say they got a gun when it's a cop. So when you say gun, they start to listen. Yep. You don't always have to mention it's a cop, you know. Just say there's a dude with a gun parked in a handicap space. I'm worried of what's going to happen if we try to tow him. Then the police pull up and see it's just some fat motorcycle cop. But yeah, there's no other reason to call the police, man. Like, there's not. In this country, anyway. Yeah. Unless you have to. You know? Unless you have to for insurance reasons, and I don't even like doing that. I've had accidents where people like called up and I don't even want to deal with them. And it wasn't even my fault. Like, I could have got paid. I kind of regretted one because it was screwed up. I lost a car and I had to do a lot of stuff, but I didn't want to deal with the police. I got hit by a drunk dude. I'm like, I don't want to call the police. I don't want to deal with them. Just go through insurance, whatever. And then insurance is like, how come you didn't file our police report? Because I didn't want motherfuckers with guns coming over there. They don't get that part.
No, they don't.
There should be somebody else. They should have like insurance people that drive around all night and you can just file a report with them. No guns, no attitudes, no weapons, no, you know, none of that. No right to search and arrest you or whatever they do. Plant evidence. They just come in to file the report. That would make sense. All the money these insurance companies make, they can't hire some people to do that in all the cities, then they weak.
That cuts into profits, man.
I don't care. You're cutting into my profits. Think of all the good things we could do if it wasn't for these police having to be out there doing that. Man. Like, the less things you have them do, the better. Like, really, I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me if you have to have police, they should come out like somebody's shooting up a store with the AR or AK or something, you know, mass stuff. A bunch of people are robbing a bank at gunpoint. Then you send the police. You know, some car accident happened. You don't need to send police. Somebody got in a fight in the corner. You don't need to send police. You know, somebody doesn't want to pick up their tent and move. You don't need to call police. It's just so dumb, man.
Well, I mean, we talked about this before. It's a strategy of policing. Like, to me, to watch these videos shot in Los Angeles, it's like pissed off homeless guy or this woman under something. It's like 4 fucking cars. You know? 6, 8 cops. For what? What the fuck is going on here? But this is
overkill. It's overkill like crazy.
That's how they do it there.
Yeah, it's like they're so scared.
Blows my mind. Well, it's just the message that it gives that, yeah, this is a fuck all incident, and we have this much fucking manpower. Did everybody see us? You get it? That's the part of it that is fucking disgusting.
Yeah. I have a theory that oh, this is what I was saying earlier. This is connected to this. I have a theory that after September, when Biden cuts off everybody's funding of every kind, it's gonna get wild out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy. People are gonna be getting shot and robbed. Crime's gonna just skyrocket. And that's, see, the thing is, these police now, the right wing people, and probably some of the left wing people too now, because they're funding the police. They just like to say, defund the police. We're gonna, no, they say reform now. They don't even say defund anymore. Now it's reform, police reform. Which means give police a lot of money and let them police themselves, basically. So yeah, they keep saying that what's going with the narrative of crime is up because the Democrats have defunded the police. When did this happen? Because if the Democrats had defunded the police even, I would probably go and say Democrats are kind of doing something now. All they've done is pretty much gave the police more funding for quote unquote reform, like we just said. And there's more crime because people are broke. We have a pandemic going on. You're trying to force people to work. Then you got these jackass people at these businesses talking about, well, they just want to live for free off the money. They don't want to come back to work. Why don't you pay them a livable wage and give them something, some benefits? There's places now giving $1,000 bonuses, and we pay 20 something an hour.
Yeah.
I have a theory once they get the people in, when all this is over, they're just going to drop all those people. Are going to get fired because at California are at will employee. So get it while the getting's good. But yeah, I mean, why would you want to work anywhere if you can't survive, and you can survive better getting some of your tax money back during a pandemic that's not even safe to go out, really?
Well, that's the other thing, too. That's the thing that just never gets mentioned. What is your life worth to you? How much money are you willing to risk your life for? That's what nobody fucking says, but that's the decision that millions of people have to make, that have been making.
Yeah, they have some old inbred hillbilly dude making the rounds on Fox News and all the right-wing stuff. He owns some restaurant somewhere. And, yeah, he's all going on, we have to charge so much more for our food now because we had to give bonuses just to get workers, and we're going to end up losing customers because no one can afford the amount we're going to have to pay our employees a livable wage. He didn't say a livable wage. I'm making that up. You know, the wages to get them to work when they're getting free money all over from the government, socialism, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man, this dude, he was an inbred Jed just listening to him on the radio thing.
You know, but the thing is, if these economical experts would get their head out of their ass, this is the definition of their beloved free market. Nobody will take your fucking jobs because it's sub-existence. So if you want people to generate revenue for you, you have to give them more. That's the fucking market. You know?
And you know what they're fighting over? They're fighting over some CEO's bonus. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not. That's what this whole thing is really about. Somebody at the very, very top, some billionaire, multi-millionaire, is going to have a little bit less. Just a teeny bit less. And all these other people are going to have more and be happy. And you can't. Less? How the hell can I get less? I'm the god of this company. No. Fire them all and hire people who will do what we want. That's what their attitude is. Yeah. And you got a whole lot of people that vote in this country that would applaud that attitude. That's the disgusting part.
Wow. A lot of those people are the ones who can afford to give money to help create the narrative they want to see as well, you know? pay to play.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's move on because we got to wrap up soon. Let's move on to the white supremacists in Canada. Because, see, to all you people here who think Canada, well, I mean, it's way better in some ways, but there's also a lot of bad things there. They like mimic us or do the same things we do. Not we as in me and our listeners. We as in stupid Americans, like Democrats and Republican kind of people. But yeah, you just had a murder, a big mass murder by a white supremacist, right?
On Sunday, in the city of London, Ontario, which I can't be positive, but I think it's around 150,000 people. Disclaimer, I spent a week in London, Ontario in 2014. There was a report of a truck going up on a sidewalk, hitting some pedestrians. That was the first thing anybody heard. Then the next thing, we saw pictures of a huge cordoned off area, cops everywhere, and first reports that it wasn't necessarily an accident. Then the next thing we heard was it was a family of 5, 3 generations of the same family out for a walk on a Sunday, and a young white male in a half-ton truck on purpose. This is coming from the cops at this early stage. On purpose, drove up onto the sidewalk and hit the whole family with his truck. It didn't take long until we found out that 4 out of the 5 people hit were dead. The only one that survived was the youngest, a 9-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. Since then, just to go over the broad things first, of course, he's being held. The charges are going to be terrorism. This is coming from the London police all the way up to the Prime Minister of Canada. This crime is terrorism. So, on the one hand, we have very quick action, probably quicker than a lot of people were expecting, but the decision's made. It's done. There's no speculation to be had. And if it would have been no terror, well, there's a decision has been made. There would be questions either way. Of course, the right... What?
I was going to say, is that an anomaly in Canada to have a white person called a terrorist? Like it is here?
Yes. Yes. But I mean, lately in Canada, with big issues of what seem to be terror-related crimes that are in the end called mental defect cases in one way or another, that's just been the way the last couple of them have gone. But they started out as terror. Everybody wanted terror charges. But they took their time before they came up with how they were going to proceed. Because if they think somebody is nuts, it's going to make a difference how they present the case, Move it along. This guy's fucking nuts. Put him away. But this one, very quickly. Terrorism. So that is surprising. But the thing is now, of course, there's a lot of decent people who came out very quickly and very strongly for this entire family in London, Ontario. Which, it's fucking white. This family were Pakistani immigrants, and their name was Afzai, and the father of the family was named Salman, And, these people, of course, volunteered, had a business. Their kids were top students in schools. They were Muslim. They were practicing Muslims. But they were decent people, They didn't do nothing wrong. They didn't commit any crimes. They paid their taxes. They just came here and grew their family and lived their lives.
Tried to.
But, yeah. But now it seems that because a 20-year-old white male, who early indication is may have been influenced by, at the minimum, right-wing sources, at the worst, white supremacists, decided that, they shouldn't be there.
Or even religious sometimes.
So, this is a hate crime. This is the definition of hate crime. So, it went from this doesn't look like an accident to 4 charges of vehicular homicide and murder, which means it was no accident. And now it's moved to terrorism.
That's good, though. Not the situation, the terrorist charges, because they're more strict. Because, like here, if it's a white shooter or bomber, what do they call him? A bomber. They call him a mass shooter. They'll call him a sex-addicted person. They'll call him misunderstood. They'll call him mentally ill. They'll call him all kinds of things, but they won't call him a terrorist. Someone that's not a white person do pretty much the same heinous act or something equal. Terrorism charges. Well, it's really screwed up, man.
No, I think the issue in the United States is the last time that they tried to do that was the Oklahoma City bombing. And they found out when they called Timothy McVeigh a terrorist, it caused a real backlash. It made more problems than it solved.
I don't see why, though.
Because
he was a terrorist.
I know. But by calling him a terrorist, it made him a fucking martyr. If you called him crazy, he wouldn't be the martyr that he is.
How was he a martyr? He's a terrorist. He blew up a building.
Yeah, but he's a martyr because he was deemed a terrorist, and to that movement, that makes him a saint.
I guess
and they don't want to. They don't want to do that again. They don't want to do that. I don't see the
difference. It's just the charges change,
Well, it does, but so does the interpretation of him for different fringe elements. There are crazy people out there that think if you get charged terror, then you did your job.
He was in white supremacist groups, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure he was. He was some.
Yeah,
talking about McVeigh, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was talking about the purity and libertarian horseshit.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be creating any more of them for the underground if they can help it. Up here, it's no, fuck it. We're going to call a spade a spade. Let's see what this does. We're making history for the country.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Because to me, it seems the way the U.S. legal system is, it doesn't matter what the decision is. If you have enough money and if you talk to the right people, you can get anything overturned over time. You can get anything reversed over time in the U.S. It doesn't work like that in the British system, in Canada. It doesn't work like that. Once something big is decided, that's it. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and all these people are going to say, see, you talk shit about guns, but they just drive people over with a car. Well, good then. Let's get your guns registered once a year like a car. You have to get a license and take a test to use it. We can go through a whole bunch of things, It's a lot harder to get a car than it is to get a gun, legal car, drive a car legally than it is of a legal gun here. It's a whole nother thing.
No, that is the perfect argument for that side of it. And the other side of it is, obviously, if this guy would have had access, he would have had them. So, maybe he could have killed 10 or 15 people instead of the 4 he killed.
Yeah, he could have went to a place with more people or whatever.
Yeah, he could have just went to the mosque, because the mosque is only a couple blocks away. And it also turns out, with a little investigation by the press, not coming from the police, that he had been issued tickets for being in a parking lot right next to the mosque twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that parking lot? You don't know what it was?
No, it was apparently there was some sort of small strip mall or something on the property next to where the mosque was, and it was
That's
kind
what
of
I'm just wondering if he legitimately was just there because he lived in the area and being a business, or if he was stalking them, staking them out,
Well, he got reported twice, and the cops turned up twice. So,
Oh, yeah, if he got reported, it was probably doing some weird stuff.
He might have been taking pictures. Who knows? Yeah. I'm sure we'll find out in the days to come. But, I mean, it's, again, you hear terrorism charges, then you hear that shit. It's like, okay. And, of course, there will be the yahoos that say, they're going to make an example of him because how dare he pick on Muslims and, that same old shit. It's going to come up.
How dare he pick on anybody for whatever reason like that? You don't drive through and murder a bunch of family members or anybody else. The reason he did it is it's just as bad as anybody else. But yeah, you're targeting people because of what they believe in.
Yep.
And I'm betting he believes in some other silly religion that's the opposite of theirs. And see, that's the thing. You're calling these people terrorists and scum and violent, and you're the one running them down. You're the one shooting them down. These are, you know what I mean?
Yep.
These people call you a terrorist and then shoot you down. It doesn't make sense. They had surrounded the one mosque with guns, calling them terrorists. Y'all the ones with the weapons. Y'all the ones threatening people's lives. I seen a video a long time ago. It just blew my mind. It's like, y'all got all these, they were throwing bacon on the ground. They had crosses all over and Jesus, this and that. They all had, this is somewhere, I don't know, Midwest or South, because they all had rifles on their thing and guns on them. And they're going off on this mosque. And these people are just, like, wow, you terrorists, you're so terrible. And it's like, look at this. You calling these people violent and everything. They just trying to do their thing. And y'all got the weapons and surrounding and spitting and throwing, things. It's just crazy, dude. I don't get it. Religion's a joke. All of them. But yeah. And in other countries, it's the reverse. So, I mean, it's, these religions are horrible. That's what some of it comes down to. The supremacy, nationalism, whatever on top of that makes it even worse. They fuel each other's fire. But, and then if you add a Q on top, it's over.
But, like I said a while ago now, stuff like this happens and everybody says, holy fuck, what's going on in Canada? When did this start? Well, see, that's our problem. I mean, in the U.S., when did things start to get out of control? People will bring up stuff like Columbine and, other things. Unfortunately, there is a trail. In Canada, there's a trail too. It's not as dark, but it's a hell of a lot harder to find. And that's what's wrong up here. And like I said about London, Ontario, the week I spent there, I talked about this a little bit before the show. There's places you have to go. You have to go to like a supermarket and gas station and stuff like this because you're in town for a week. And the picture I got of London is, it's white. That's the way it's always been, and it's the way it's, it's kind of the way we prefer it. You know what I mean? And there was something that was posted on Facebook by a guy named Jeff Bennett, who was a political candidate in London West in 2014. He ran provincially for the Progressive Conservative Party, which would be the equivalent to state Republicans. So this guy was a candidate for that party, that type of party. And he said when he was running for PC party candidate in the London West, he would knock on doors. And it happened many times. People would open the door and they'd say, "I can tell by looking at you that Jeff Bennett is a candidate I can support." And that would be without him telling them anything, giving them any literature, nothing. And it's, he said when that happened, he would just, thank them and give them the shit and move on because there's nothing to talk about, right? He said it bothered him. He said, these people who never met me saw nothing special in me. They were happy only that my name was English and my skin was white. The PC party candidate in the election before me had been my friend Ali Chabar. He had lost narrowly in a by-election only a year earlier. I remember thinking he'd win until I listened to a local talk radio show featuring callers concerned that Ali's wife, who is a prominent local lawyer, was too vocal in her support of Palestinian human rights, as if that's a bad thing. The word Sharia was tossed around. I had volunteers on my campaign who told me they were happy to be able to contribute again. They had tried to volunteer a year earlier, but the campaign office felt like the Middle East.
What?
This guy says, I should have asked them to leave my campaign. I did not. When my friend Ali came knocking on doors with me, I was told to be selective which neighborhood I chose that day. I should have spoke up. Again, I excused it as a few off-the-cuff remarks from a few well-intentioned supporters. Now I see people expressing shock that a racist terrorist would drive his truck into the pathway of a Muslim family going for a walk. London is better than this, they say. I can't believe this happened here. Bullshit. I knocked on thousands of doors in the very neighborhood this atrocity occurred. This terrorist may have been alone in that truck on that day, but he was not acting alone. He was raised in a racist city that pretends it isn't. I drove past the scene yesterday. Families wept where they laid flowers. I knew that Ali Chabar's former campaign office is only a kilometer up the road. I knew that everyone would say this was a tragic and unthinkable event, and many would consider it an isolated incident. Condolences will pour in, and people will demand the perpetrator face charges of terrorism. But this was neither unthinkable nor isolated. It's a daily reality minorities in this country face, and I'm upset I have not done more to combat it. I've come face to face with anti-Muslim attitudes in London, Ontario, and said, "Thank you for your support. I'm so very sorry. I promise to do better. It's not enough to fly flags at half-mast and for politicians to send thoughts and prayers. We must take stock of the part we play. No more saying, oh, Grandpa's not really racist. He was just raised differently. Well, that differently is not okay. Canada has a racist, unacceptable history. It's time we call it out, own it, and take action." And those are the words of Mr. Jeff Bennett of London, Ontario.
Jeff Bennett. Man. Yeah, it's crazy everywhere, man. It always has been. It's just, now we have social media and these people are proud. I've seen about quite a few videos in the past week or two where the racist is, blatantly saying the N-word or some other racial slur, and someone say racist, you're like, yes, I'm a racist, like proud of it. You know what I mean? I've seen a couple of them. They're like embracing that term, like that's what I am. So what?
Yeah.
One dude said, yeah, I'm a racist and I got a machine gun in my car or something. So I walk into his car, that's when the video ended. Yeah, you see him, and he was just calling her all kinds of, like, man, he was degrading this woman in every way for being black and being a woman and everything else. Every kind of racial and sexist slur was getting tossed at her. He's like, yeah, I'm a racist. I got a machine gun. He started walking to his car like he gonna get a gun. It was insane. These people are bold, and the ones that aren't bold, they're the ones that do damage behind the scenes. Those are the Democrats. The Republicans are proud about their racism. So yeah, you know, PM Beers is getting trolled by PragerU. Big time. So yeah, if anyone's listening, support her on Twitter. Yeah, she's getting dragged by these cats. You know who just tweeted her tweet out with Prager's little stupid ass response was Dr. Sebastian Gorka.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So now she's getting just trolled by bots and these trolls with 4 or 5 followers, and then all these people, like I'm telling you, like these people are violent. They're sending all kinds of threats, not just to her, to other women. Like this one guy, I went off on him publicly. He keeps attacking women. He won't respond to me. Shows you what kind of people they are, you know? He's all big and bad on all these screenshots I'm getting from different women. But, yeah, I was like, you know, what's up? I said the same thing to him, basically. He's been sending to them. And I haven't seen any response, but he keeps going off more and more of them. What a creepy person. What a weak coward. So, yeah, support PM Beers, y'all. For real, help her out. She's got an army tearing her down. But yeah, I guess we gotta wrap this up, huh, Glenn?
You're the producer.
People's Radio United.
I'm not the producer.
Yeah, you are.
It's a long story that has to do with Satan, the Illuminati, my soul. Yeah, I'm not really the producer. Come on.
You're the producer's human interface. Then. How's that?
We got to do one. You know what? April 1st is already gone, darn it. We should just do a conspiracy theory show where we just make stuff up based on other people's conspiracy theories. We'll make them even cooler.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Hang on. Let me get this music on.
Well, if we're going to have a conspiracy show, it's almost like there's like a format and we plan something. So be careful.
I plan to have Sasquatch on in person to talk about why he's so elusive.
Okay.
And we're going to find out the truth that he's the leader of the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah.
It all comes together in the end, man. So, yeah.
Is this like a tea drop or something?
A what?
A tea drop?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Wow.
See how the leaves are patterned?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know what strain I have. I have to look at the jar. Tell me what you're doing right now.
I kept it simple today. Straight up, 100% Gorilla Glue 4. That's it.
All right. Flour is SFVOG. And the wax is lava cake cured resin sugar.
Wow.
Oh, and the shrooms are these. I don't know. I just get the drinks now with them in there. It is really better that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's strawberry lemonade. Oh, yeah.
Strawberry lemonade with fucking psilocybin in it.
Damn straight.
Damn.
I mean, if you got to take something out of it, it's going to be the strawberry lemonade. Not the shrooms. So, yeah.
America, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess that's
whatever.
it, man.
People's Radio United.
I was trying to find that button. So yeah, thank you to all the millions of people who are listening. Go out there and jump in there with PM Beers and help her with all the Prager trolls all over. There's a lot of them.
I apologize for not logging into chat for this show. It was too difficult.
Yeah, I didn't even see it till the end. I had a big picture of Glenn's face over it from Skype.
Oh,
yeah. No, you know your logo face, not yeah. But dang, I was gonna say something and I forgot. I'm so tired, man.
Then we're done.
Yeah. See y'all next week, probably.